Hello students, warm greetings of the day. I welcome all of you to this new video class of Class 10 English. The topic that I have brought for you today is the Sermon at Benares, which is a chapter given in your textbook The First Flight. The writer of this particular story is Betty Renshaw. Before I tell you more about the story of Lord Buddha, I would like you people to be acquainted with the author, the writer, Betty Louise Renshaw Barber, who was born in Shannon, Mississippi on September 3, 1927 to P.C. and Lillian Renshaw. After graduating valedictorian from Shannon High School, she went on to obtain her Bachelor's of Arts degree from Mississippi College and later a Master of Arts from Mississippi University for Women. So this is the basic information about the writer. Apart from that, Betty Renshaw has also performed a lots of social work. She has been involved in her lifetime as a social worker who carried out many missions with her husband, which were related to social upliftment and other such projects. She was a spiritual person who has written at length about Lord Buddha and his teachings. So, in this chapter, the story of Lord Buddha, that is Gautam Buddha, has been narrated in short. Gautam Buddha needs no introduction in India. He is the person who started Buddhism in India, and it spread to various parts of the world later. So let us start the story. Let us discuss the main points of this particular chapter. So the chapter begins with a brief introduction of Gautam Buddha as Prince Siddharth, who was born in a royal family. So here we go. Gautam Buddha was born to a North Indian royal family as a prince and was named Siddharth Gautam. When he was 12 years old, he was sent to a faraway place to study Hindu sacred scriptures, and upon returning 4 years later, he got married to a princess. So this is the short detail of Lord Buddha. He was born in a North Indian family. It was a royal family, and as a child he lived a very happy and carefree life. At the age of 12, his father decided to send him to a Gurukul to study from a guru about the Hindu sacred scriptures. Sacred scriptures, the holy books which are written in a particular religion. Here it is Hinduism. Okay, so he went to a Gurukul, and it was far away from his kingdom, and he lived there and studied different scriptures related to Hinduism. He completed his studies, and after 4 years, that means at the age of 16, he came back, and his father, the king, got him married to a princess. The name of this princess was Princess Yashodhara. Princess Yashodhara was a beautiful princess who was specifically chosen for Siddharth to be his bride by his father. There is a story behind Siddharth's birth. The story goes like this: when Siddharth or Gautam Buddha, that is what he came to be known later, was born, at that time there was a prophecy. The prophecy was that this man, that is the new baby that was born, would grow up to be a sage. He would leave the kingdom and he would go to the forests and he will become a man of spirituality. So this was the prediction which was made by the astrologers at the time of his birth. So obviously, being a king's son, the father, that is the king, father of Siddharth, was very much worried, and he decided to keep his son Siddharth away from all the pain and suffering that were there in the world. And he thought that by keeping him confined within the palace, he would be able to keep him involved in the worldly pleasures, and as such, this boy, even when he grew up and became a king, perhaps would not be carried away by the pain and suffering that was so rampant around in the world. And that's the reason his father chose Yashodhara to be his son's bride, and they were married. Soon they both had a son, and they continued to live the royal life for about 10 years. The royals were shielded from all the unpleasant experiences of the world until one day, on his way to hunt, the prince met a sick man, an aged man, a funeral procession, and a monk begging for alms. Now there comes a turning point in the life of Siddharth, and the turning point is when he goes for a hunting expedition, and on his way he sees a sick man, an aged man, and then a person who has died, and his funeral procession was going on the road. And he also saw a sage who was begging for alms. This was something which was a very moving and a deep impact creating experience in the life of Lord Buddha. Before that, he had been covered in luxury by his father and mother. He did not know what sorrow was. He had no idea of the kind of pain and suffering that was so much around him, around his palace where he lived, because he had been shielded. He had shunned all kinds of pain and suffering. He had never been, exposed to sufferings. So this is how he came to know that there is sickness, there is old age, there is death, and there is perhaps a way out of all the pain and suffering in the form of the monk who was begging for alms. So this was a moving experience for Lord Buddha, and it created a life-turning impact on him. Let us see what happened as a result of the experience that Siddharth had. These experiences acted as eye-openers for him, and thus he left all the royalty behind to seek a higher sense of spiritual knowledge. Upon attaining salvation, he began preaching. He gave his first sermon in the city of Benares. There was a lady named Kisa Gautami whose son had died. So now what happens? This experience changed him a lot, and a day came when he left his wife, and he had a son too. His name was Rahul, and he left his wife and sleeping son in the palace and went in search of knowledge, because he knew that there has to be some way out of the pain and suffering of the world. The world cannot go on like this. There has to be a solution to the problems that these common mortals, these people are facing in their daily lives. And he wanted to find that solution. And he felt that the solution would come to him in the form of spiritual knowledge, perhaps. So he was searching for that spiritual upliftment, for that spiritual conscious to dawn on him. So he roamed about in the forests for a long time, and he meditated uh, for many days without food and water. This is what the story says. But then he could not attain enlightenment. Then one day, in his quest for spiritual knowledge, one day he reached the city of Bodh Gaya, and he sat under a peepal tree where he meditated for 17 long days. And on the 17th day, it is said that Lord Buddha or Siddhartha attained Nirvana. That means he attained Buddhahood. He became spiritually knowledgeable, and he understood the reason why people went through so much pain and suffering in their lives. And he also knew what was the way out. And after attaining salvation or nirvana, as it is said in Hindi, he started preaching. He could not stay and keep back his knowledge. He had come to the forest for his people, because the people were in pain and he wanted to help them out. So, after attaining salvation, he started preaching, he started giving discourses, and his first discourse was given at Sarnath, which is near Benares. And in that first sermon, he preached his first disciples. It's almost similar to the Sermon on the Mount, in which Jesus Christ, after attaining enlightenment, gives his first sermon to his first disciples. There is a keen similarity, there is a deep similarity between the two stories here. And while he was giving his sermon, there is a mention of a lady named Kissa Gautami. Kissa Gautami, she was a rich man's wife and had a son. Her son had died unfortunately, and she could not bear the loss. She was so desolate in her grief that she wandered here and there. So let us see what happens to Kissa Gautami in the story. Before I take the story forward, I would like to show you this beautiful place where Lord Buddha gave his first sermon. This is the famous Sarnath Stoop, the famous pillar of Sarnath, which has been made in the memory of Lord Buddha and the first sermon that he delivered here. Now coming back to the story of Kissa Gautami. Suffering with unending pain, she went from house to house looking for a medicine to bring her son back to life. People started thinking that the lady had lost her senses. One day, she met a man who directed her towards Lord Buddha, who could possibly have a solution for her problem. So, Kissa Gautami, she was a very, very grief stricken woman. She didn't know how to console herself because her son had died, and she was roaming here and there, and she went to each person whom she met on her way, and she would ask, she would show the dead body of her dead son, and she would ask them to revive her son for him because the son was his only child. The son was her only child, and she wanted her son back. She wanted her son alive. Now the people, they knew that the person who is dead cannot be brought back to life. People know it. We all know this thing. But Kissa Gautami refused to believe the harsh reality, and people started thinking that perhaps the lady had turned into a lunatic, had gone crazy. And then one day, what happened? She met a man. There was an old man whom she met, and she asked the same question from the old man, that can you bring my son back to life? On hearing this, the old man told her that you go to Lord Buddha. Perhaps Lord Buddha can bring about a change in your fortune. Perhaps because he is a spiritually enlightened man, maybe he would be able to help her. And that is what made Kissa Gautami go to Lord Buddha and attend his sermon, because she wanted her son back at any cost. So let us see what happens after this. When Kissa Gautami took her dead son and put it in front of Lord Buddha asked her to look for mustard seeds, and the seeds must be procured from a house that had seen no death. Reinstated with hope, Kissa Gautami once again went on a search from house to house, but to her dismay, she could not find mustard seeds from a house that would fulfill Buddha's condition. So, this is what happened at the Buddha's place. When she took her son there, she kept the dead body in front of Lord Buddha, and she implored him to put her son back to life. And she also said that if you are truly a great saint, if you are truly a great man, you will be able to do this. And Lord Buddha answered in his peaceful voice that yes, it was possible. He could bring her son back to life. But then there was a condition. And the condition was that she would have to bring a handful of mustard seeds. But the thing is, she has to bring the mustard seeds from a house where no one has died till now, where there is no death. That's the condition that Lord Buddha put to Kissa Gautami. And Kissa Gautami was such an ignorant woman at that time that she was filled with hope, a false hope, we can say, that perhaps she would find a house where no one has died, and she would be able to get those mustard seeds, and perhaps her son would come alive. And that is how she roamed here and there. She went to different places. She asked people to give her a handful of mustard seeds. The only condition was there should not be any death in the family. But alas, she could not find a single house where no one had died. Disheartened, she sat at the edge of the road, thus realizing how selfish she had been. She became conscious to the fact that men were mortal and no one could escape the cycle of life. So she was a disillusioned and a very, very unhappy woman after this experience. Why? Because there was not a single family, there was not a single place in entire Banaras and all other places that she may have gone to where no one had died. Wherever she went, the people who lived in that house told her that perhaps a few years back they had lost their father or mother or some other relative. So that way she could not procure those mustard seeds, and she was deeply disheartened, very, very sad, and she sat on the wayside and she started contemplating. She started thinking, and for the first time she realized that what she had been chasing was a false dream. A person who is dead can never be brought back to life. And if someone believes that it can be done, then that is a false belief. That is a myth. And at last, Kissa Gautami understood that we are mortal. Human being or human life is something which is short lived. It comes to an end after some time. And no one can escape this cycle of birth and death. This is something which goes on and on again and again. So this realization gave consolation. A strange kind of peace came into Kissa Gautami, and she understood the facts of life for the first time. Now, coming to the end, this was exactly what Buddha wanted her to understand. According to Lord Buddha, feelings of grief and sorrow only increases man's pain and suffering, thus deteriorating his health. Therefore, a wise person, fully aware about nature's functioning, must not grieve at something bound to happen, and only then he can be happy and blessed. So, when she came back to Lord Buddha asked Kissa, "Were you able to procure the mustard seeds that I asked you to bring?" And Kissa Gautami, in a grief stricken voice, answered that, "No, my lord, I could not get those handful of mustard seeds. I'm so sorry. But in my journey, I have realized a harsh reality of life, and that harsh reality of life is that whatever begins comes to an end. Whether it is life, whether it is something else, there is a cycle of beginning and end, and no one, and mark my words, dear children, no one can escape this cycle." So, after going through lots of pain and disillusionment, Kissa Gautami finally understood the serious fact of life, and she became devoted to Lord Buddha. She became one of her first woman disciples, and later on she became an Arahat. An Arahat is a Buddhist word which means a person who has become spiritual enlightenment but has not achieved Buddhahood. Buddha means a completely enlightened soul. So this is how the story comes to an end, and the message is very clear that in order to rise above grief, we need to have a deep understanding of the ways of the world. And the wise, they know, they are fully aware that this cycle, there is a cycle of pain, a cycle of happiness. Similarly, there is a cycle of beginning and end, life and death, and so on, and nobody can escape it. So, the wise people try to rise up above it by meditation, by deep contemplation, and that is how they realize their potential and become better human beings who serve humanity. So, with this, we come to the end of the chapter. I hope you people have enjoyed the story and the lesson. This is a lesson for life. So, stay happy and stay blessed.